Elaine was 70 when it happened, just bending down to tie her shoe. No dizziness, no warning, just a sudden, jarring fall. She sat on the floor, heart racing, stunned. "Is this how it starts?" she whispered to herself. That quiet moment, alone, afraid, was her wake-up call. But it wasn't the end. It was the beginning. She found a physiotherapist who didn't just give her stretches or balance drills. He handed her 5 strange little exercises, things that looked too easy to matter. But within weeks, her posture changed. Her balance steadied. She could walk faster. Get up from the floor without fear. Those 5 simple movements, they helped her feel capable again. Welcome to Better Aging Advice for Elderly, where we turn real stories and cutting-edge science into simple, powerful habits for living with energy and confidence at any age. I'm Lewis, and today we're sharing 5 under-the-radar exercises physiotherapists quietly use to rebuild aging bodies from the ground up. If you want to stay sharp, strong, and mobile, hit subscribe, like, and share, because this is just the beginning of what's possible. Exercise 1. Toe Yoga, Elaine's foundation fix. Elaine assumed her fall had something to do with her knees, or maybe her balance. So when her physiotherapist knelt beside her feet and said, "We're starting here," she was confused. Her feet? They didn't hurt. They weren't swollen, but they were the reason she fell. He introduced her to something called toe yoga, a deceptively simple exercise that focused on lifting individual toes. No weights, no machines, just her, barefoot on the floor, trying to separate her big toe from the rest. At first, she laughed. "This is ridiculous," she said, but her therapist smiled. "Trust me. This is where your balance begins." Here's what he meant. As we age, we lose the small muscle control in our feet, especially in the toes. Those muscles play a crucial role in our stability. When they weaken, every step becomes riskier, especially on uneven ground. By regaining that toe control, you rebuild your foundation, and everything above it gets stronger. Within 2 weeks of daily practice, Elaine noticed something. Her stride lengthened. Her gait felt smoother. She wasn't grabbing walls or furniture as she walked through her home. And that anxious hesitation before standing up, it started to fade. She felt anchored again. Exercise tip. Sit on a chair with your feet flat and barefoot. First, try lifting just your big toes, keeping the other toes firmly on the ground. Hold for a few seconds, then relax. Next, do the reverse. Lift your 4 smaller toes while keeping your big toes down. Alternate sides if needed, or use your fingers to help guide the motion at first. Start with 5 reps in each direction, once or twice a day. It's harder than it sounds, but that's the point. You're retraining your nervous system, rewiring those dormant signals from foot to brain. The result? Better balance, faster reactions, more confidence with every step. Can you move your toes independently? Most people can't, but try it right now. Sit down, kick your shoes off, and give it a shot. You'll instantly see how much those tiny movements reveal about your stability. It's not about age, it's about awareness and control. Elaine's journey didn't start with high-tech equipment or complicated routines. It started with a toe. And that small, seemingly silly move, it changed her life from the ground up. Exercise 2, wall sit with arm reach, reclaiming strength. Tom was 74 when he told his therapist, "I can't do squats anymore," and he wasn't being dramatic. His knees ached, his balance felt shaky. Every time he tried, he felt like he was on the verge of falling backward. He'd given up on the idea of lower body strength until his therapist offered a surprising alternative. "We won't squat," she said, "we'll sit, but not on a chair." She introduced Tom to the wall sit with arm reach, a static exercise that looks simple until you try it. He leaned his back against the wall, slid down into a gentle bend at the knees, and held. Then came the twist. Slow, controlled arm movements, reaching overhead, then side to side. At first, he felt silly, like he wasn't doing enough. But then came the burn. What Tom didn't realize was that this movement quietly turned on his entire chain of support. Quads, glutes, abs, shoulders, and even the small stabilizers around his knees and hips. All without moving his feet or risking a fall. Just 20 seconds in, he felt his thighs shaking, but in a good way. After a few sessions, Tom noticed something he hadn't felt in years: power. Getting out of a chair was easier. Going upstairs didn't leave him winded. His upper body too felt stronger, because the reaching motion recruited his core and shoulders, subtly building strength without strain. This wasn't a fallback, it was a breakthrough. How to? Stand with your back flat against a wall. Slide down until your knees are bent, no deeper than a chair height sit. Feet should be flat, shoulder width apart, and slightly in front of your knees. Now raise your arms slowly overhead, hold for a second, then reach to the left, return to center, then to the right, all while maintaining that wall sit. Move slowly and breathe deeply. Don't rush. Start with 20 seconds and build up to 40 or more as you get stronger. Try holding this for just 20 seconds right now. Feel that heat in your legs? That's age reversing itself. That's your muscles waking up. That's your body remembering what it's capable of. This one movement reclaims strength you thought was gone and rebuilds it where you need it most. Exercise 3, seated cross crawl, the brain booster. Joan was sharp her whole life until small things started slipping. First it was names, then where she parked. One afternoon she forgot the turn to her daughter's house, a route she'd driven for 15 years. Her daughter started to worry. Joan did too. When they met with a physiotherapist, they expected balance drills or strength training. Instead, the therapist introduced something that looked almost silly. Joan sat in a chair while the therapist said, "Touch your right elbow to your left knee. Then switch." "That's it?" Joan asked. But there was more to this simple motion than met the eye. This move is called the seated cross crawl, and it taps into something deeper than muscles. It connects the left and right sides of the brain, forcing them to work together. That cross-body motion, elbow to opposite knee, is like flipping a switch that activates brain pathways tied to memory, coordination, and focus. It's the same reason crawling is such a milestone for babies. It builds the foundation for brain-body coordination. And for older adults, it reawakens those same systems. Joan started doing it daily, just a few minutes seated comfortably. After 2 weeks, something shifted. She was remembering appointments again. She had more mental clarity. Even her daughter noticed that her eyes lit up more. Her stories flowed better. It wasn't a miracle. It was neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself at any age, especially when given the right movement cues. How to. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Lift your left knee and tap it with your right elbow, rotating slightly at the waist. Lower and switch, right knee to left elbow. Go slow, exhale with each tap. Aim for 10 controlled reps per side, quality over speed. You'll likely feel uncoordinated at first, and that's perfect. That confusion, that's your brain building new connections. You're not just moving, you're retraining your brain to stay sharp and responsive. Feels like rubbing your belly while patting your head? Good, that's your brain rewiring. That awkwardness is actually progress. Joan didn't need a brain game on a screen. She needed a movement that engaged her whole nervous system, one that felt real, embodied, and just challenging enough to push her forward. And the best part? It's done from a chair, anywhere, anytime. 3 exercises in, and your body and brain are already waking up. But don't stop now, because exercise 4 is where things get unexpectedly fun. And it does more than just make you smile. Exercise 4, standing hip circles, releasing years of tension. Carlos never thought of himself as stiff. Sure, he had to sit down slowly. Sure, he shifted a lot, trying to get comfortable. But pain? Not really. Just part of aging, right? Then his physiotherapist asked him to try something simple. Hip circles. Stand. Hold the back of a chair. Rotate your hips in a wide, slow circle. Halfway through his first attempt, Carlos stopped. "I didn't realize I was this tight," he said. And that's exactly what his therapist wanted to hear. You see, we carry years of tension in the hips, especially if we've spent decades sitting, driving, or standing still. Over time, our hips lose mobility, and that stiffness doesn't just stay in the hips. It spreads to the lower back, the knees, even the ankles. Movements that used to feel natural, walking, standing, climbing stairs, start feeling mechanical or strained. But hip circles, they undo that tension in a way most stretches never touch. Within a week of doing them daily, Carlos noticed something remarkable. His lower back stopped flaring up after long walks. His knees didn't feel as achy when standing up. He could rotate his torso more freely, turning to look behind him without twisting his whole body. That's because the hips are a hub. When they're tight, everything else compensates. But when they move freely, your whole lower body relaxes. Walking gets smoother, balance improves, and daily movement becomes less about bracing and more about flow. How to. Stand behind a chair, holding on for light support. Place your feet shoulder-width apart. Begin to gently rotate your hips in a slow, wide circle. Imagine you're drawing a hula hoop motion with your waist. Keep your feet planted. Move only from the hips. Complete 10 slow circles in one direction, then reverse and do 10 the other way. Let your body find its rhythm. Move with control, not speed. You may feel some creaks, tightness, or even surprise at how limited the motion feels. And that's okay. That's your cue to keep going. Can you do 10 full circles without shifting your feet? Try it now. You'll feel how it frees up your entire lower body, like oiling the hinges of a door that hasn't opened fully in years. Carlos didn't need fancy stretches or intense routines. He just needed to wake up his hips to bring awareness, blood flow, and motion back to a part of the body that quietly holds everything together. And yes, it's surprisingly fun. You might even smile while doing it. And now you've unlocked balance, strength, brain power, and mobility. But the last exercise, that one brings it all together, and you'll never look at walking the same way again. Exercise 5, wall clock reach, posture reboot. Marilyn was in her late 60s when she started feeling like she was shrinking. She hadn't lost much height on paper, but every time she caught her reflection, something was off. Her shoulders slumped, her head tilted forward, and her chest felt tight, like she was being pulled inward. Even worse, she began avoiding mirrors altogether. "I just don't look like me anymore," she told her physiotherapist. That's when she learned the wall clock reach, a surprisingly simple movement that became her daily reset button. The first time she tried it, she faced a wall, stood tall, and slowly reached her right arm straight up, as if pointing to 12 o'clock on a giant clock. Then down to 3, then 6. After that, she repeated the pattern on the left side, 12, 9, 6. It didn't seem like much, but within seconds she felt her chest open, her shoulders slid back, her spine seemed to elongate, and her breath deeper and easier. That one move began to reverse years of unconscious slouching. Here's why it works. With age, and often with stress, our bodies naturally curl inward. The chest tightens, shoulders round, and the upper back becomes rigid. We lose the upright, open posture that conveys youth, energy, and confidence. The wall clock reach doesn't just stretch tight muscles, it reorganizes how your body holds itself. It activates the posterior chain, the often neglected muscles in your back, shoulders, and glutes that keep you upright and aligned. It also brings in shoulder mobility and spinal awareness without forcing the neck or lower back. For Marilyn, just 1 week of doing this daily brought a noticeable change. Her neck pain lessened, her breathing improved, and that feeling of shrinking, it was replaced with a quiet, proud sense of presence. Even her daughter commented, "Mom, you look taller." How to? Stand facing a wall at arm's length. Start with your right arm. Reach up as if pointing to 12 o'clock. Then slowly lower to 3 o'clock, then down to 6 o'clock, following the outline of a giant wall clock. Switch to your left arm. Reach up to 12, over to 9, and down to 6. Move slowly and mindfully. Keep your shoulders low and relaxed, and your core lightly engaged. Repeat this sequence 2 or 3 times on each side. This movement helps reset your posture, retrain shoulder mobility, and bring instant awareness to how you carry yourself throughout the day. Try this right now. Stand up, face a wall, and reach for 12, 3, 6 on one side. Feel how it reorganizes your entire upper body. That subtle opening, that's posture, confidence, and circulation coming back online. Marilyn didn't need a full gym or complicated back exercises. She just needed to wake up her posture, one reach at a time. And with that, you've now seen the full transformation. Toe strength, lower body power, brain-body coordination, hip mobility, and full body alignment. All in 5 quiet movements. Simple, underused, and powerful. Age doesn't reverse itself, but you can help it along. These aren't flashy moves, but they're powerful. They don't look impressive. They won't go viral, but they work. Because they target the quiet systems aging tends to steal first. Balance, posture, control, confidence, brain-body connection. These 5 movements rebuild what time has worn down, from your toes to your hips to your brain, without strain, without equipment, and in just a few minutes a day. And the best part? You don't have to do them perfectly. You just have to begin. Watch Carlos loosen his hips with a quiet smile. See Joan tapping her knees and rewiring her brain. Tom holding the wall sit like it's a throne. Elaine moving her toes like roots growing stronger beneath her. Marilyn standing taller, not just in body but in spirit. These aren't just exercises, they're declarations. I'm not done yet. I can still change. I want to feel strong again. And you can too. Which one will you try today? Let us know in the comments. We read and reply to everyone. If this video gave you even one aha moment, tap like. It helps others find it. And if you know someone, a parent, a friend, a neighbor, who deserves to feel strong again, share this with them. You might change their day. Subscribe to Better Aging Advice for more real stories, real people, and real strategies that help you stay sharp, mobile, and proud of the person in the mirror. Because aging isn't about giving up what you used to do. It's about discovering what you still can.